In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use tile-based collision properties. To prepare, it's good to have made a screen or so of level content. To begin, go to the window menu and choose Char Collision. You can also press Shift F7. When hovering over this grid of buttons, an overlay is put on your assets. Assets are highlighted when they use the collision bit that was last hovered over. Else they appear darker for contrast. The hold button is down by default. When down, the overlay is shown until the toolbox is closed. If up, the overlay is momentary. Now let's make the first bit button meaningful to us. I want it to represent solid tiles, so I click on the label button to name it something that fits. Next, we're going to apply some solid collisions, using a few different methods. Method 1. I locate a tile on the map I want to turn solid, for example this stone brick. By right-clicking it, it gets selected in the tile set. Now I can assign the solid property bit to it. Collision is tile set associated. That means every place that uses this tile will also use the tile's collision properties. This is a somewhat common collision method on the NES, but not the only one. Let's continue. Instead of sampling the map, you may also select tiles on the tile set directly to set their collision properties. This can be a bit slow going, so let's try a third method. Select a portion on the map you want solid, and press Ctrl F. This'll find all the selected tiles on the tile set. This action can also be found under the Patterns menu. Looking at the collision toolbox, there's an exclamation mark on the solid bit button. It means the selection contains different state on this bit. Some are from the tiles we set as solid before, and some are not. Click the bit button once to clear, and once more to set them all. Adding these collisions reveals we have some conflicts on the map. These tiles are used for both solid and non-solid locations. Let's fix that. We're going to make the solid bit conditional. This is the Conditions button. For now, right-click it to break out the Conditions toolbox. These checkboxes decide when the collision counts. Since the Conditions button is set to no, they currently have no effect. If you look at the map and the subpalettes, you'll notice something convenient. Solids on this map only use subpalettes 0 and 3. Similarly, on this map, non-solids tend to use the two other palettes, save for the sky. So first I check the boxes I want to count as valid. I also make sure the checkbox for the map is checked. I tend to leave the checkbox for the tile set unchecked, since that usually makes viewing properties easier. Finally, I turn the conditions on by pressing the Conditions button. You can toggle the condition button between three states: no, yes, and all. If you set it to all, it means if this bit button is checked, its conditions apply to all other bits. If set to yes, it only cares about the property of that particular bit. When we toggled it to yes, most of the collision conflicts got resolved. We were unlucky with one tile in the sky though. It seems this tile has been reused as both as a stone surface and a piece of cloud, both using the same subpalette. The first thing I like doing in this situation is look in my tile set for an already existing replacement. There seems to be several tiles that could fill the same spot, perhaps even better looking. You could find a close-looking replacement for either function, the stone or the cloud. A second best approach is dedicating a new tile to it, if you can afford the space. It's also not entirely out of the question to simply let it be. You could ask yourself if any game object that can collide with the background actually is able to reach the spot. NES game objects, especially flying ones, often don't have full collision detection, in order to help the CPU finish in time each frame. In any case, we solved it this time. Let's do a quick scroll through the scene and see if we missed anything. I toggle hold to on again, and hover bit 0 to highlight it, then press the arrow keys to pan around. Seems I missed a spot. In this scene it also seems to be the only time this tile is used. So normally I might investigate if it's really needed, or if another similar tile can replace it. Then I could perhaps use the freed tile space for more varied graphics. But for now I'll just highlight it as solid as well. And with that, we're done with the solid collisions. Before ending the tutorial, I'll go over just a few more things. While working on this tutorial, I realized I should add a way to reselect tiles of a particular property. This will only be available in versions dated after this tutorial goes online. Right-click the property bit to select all valid tiles. The hex edit bar is receiving minor improvements, so I can't be precise. Basically, it shows the value of the bits combined. You can also edit it by text to set the bits. Or, if you don't care for treating bits as individual properties, you can choose to simply use it for assigning numeric IDs to your tiles. Hovering over it highlights all tiles set to the current value. In Releases Post 1.0, right-clicking it selects those tiles. The collision properties are stored as part of the session file. You can also save them as a binary file for direct use in a project. A tprop file is 256 bytes long per tile set. This concludes the tutorial. Thanks for watching.